In this video I want to talk about my speculation for who will fight against who in Reckoning or Ragnarok as the continuation of the fight. Now, the fight we have right now is Buddha and the demon of the seven heaven. I don't know his full name, but this is two fighters on fight right now. So it's one god fighting for the human and one demon. That we don't know if they fight for a human, for the gods, or fighting for some other of the gods. My speculation, what I mean with this is that because the manga show is called The Reckoning or Ragnarok, and we know the leader of the Ragnarok was Loki, so released the Fenrir, Jormungandr, Surtur, the big ones, like the fire giants, the big serpent, and the big wolf. That killed Odin, and the serpent that serpent was killed of Thor, and then Thor died of the serpent's poison. And Surtur fight with the god of war, and the god of war killed Fenrir with his big shoe. So my speculation here that Loki and Beelzebub will work together in the end of the series to bring on the Reckoning of Ragnarok. So what my speculation here is that Samhayak will fight against Rasputin, Apollo will fight against Shizhuangdi, Anubis will fight against Leonardus, the king of the Spartans, the famous guy that scream all the time and kick people in. You know about who Leonardus is. And then we have Nostradamus I think will fight against Loki. So Nostradamus will fight against Loki. Then we have some of the Japanese folk heroes and gods. I don't know so much about them, but these some of them. Then we have Nikola Tesla versus Beelzebub. So we have Nikola Tesla fighting against Beelzebub, Nostradamus fighting against Loki, Samhayak, the winter sniper, fighting against Rasputin, Shizhuangdi fighting against Apollo, Anubis versus Leonardus. I don't know who Odin will fight against. Maybe one of the Japanese folk hero, one of them. But because I don't think Odin will fight against Nostradamus, because I think they are too similar in some sense. Both of them see into the future. Obviously, Odin used Amir, his head, to see into the future, and Nostradamus used kind of science and something like that to see into the future. So I think it's more likely that Nostradamus fight against Loki, and this kind of thing, and Shizhuangdi probably fight against Apollo, obviously that, and Rasputin working for the gods, and Samhayak fight against Rasputin. That is the character I think will fight. So I think the next fight after the fight between Buddha and the demon of the seven heavens are probably gonna be. My speculation here is that Samhayak and Rasputin will be the next one that fight. That is just my speculation. And after that we're gonna see, after that we'll probably see Beelzebub and Nikola Tesla fighting against each other. So Nikola Tesla probably gonna use some kind of robots when they fight against Beelzebub, and Beelzebub probably gonna use some kind of transformation when he transforms to different flies, like a big wasp or a big horse or big horse fly. So that is Beelzebub is famous to can transform to different flies, like the Lords of Fly. So that Nikola Tesla probably gonna fight against Beelzebub, because then we have somebody that uses kind of dark magic, like dark power, and then we have somebody that uses electricity, like electricity science. So that the fight I most look forward to see is absolutely Nikola Tesla. That fight with him, Sama Hayek. So this is probably Nikola Tesla, Sama Hayek, or Shishuang D is probably the fight I'm most looking forward to see in Reckoning or Ragnarok. So that's I think it's gonna be interesting, and obviously Anubis is gonna be interesting. But yeah, so this is the character I think will fight against each other in Reckoning and Ragnarok. And then probably we're gonna see two sides of some of the guard will join the human, and some of the guards will work with the demons. So you have demon and guard together, and human and guard together against. So probably Loki, Beelzebub, and Hades probably gonna work together on the dark side, and Buddha, Shishuangdi, Zeus, and Apollo will probably work on the lights, the good side. So it's gonna be kind of like a fight between these different sides. So the Rasputin gonna work with on the dark side, and Sama Hayek gonna work on the light side, I think. So Sama Hayek gonna work with with that side, and Rasputin gonna work with Loki and Beelzebub. This is just my prediction. First I think that was Sama Hayek they're gonna work for on the bad side, but I think it's more likely that Rasputin works better for that position to work on the bad side with Rasputin than Sama Hayek. So this is the character I think will fight against each other, and Sama Hayek probably gonna use some kind of a winter kind of a bullets, use like winter controlled snow and this kind of thing, because we know that all of the humans that fight against the guards gets, beside Buddha obviously, get specific weapons from the Valkyries that transform their main weapon, their famous weapon, to a more advanced type of a magical weapon. For example, Lubus, Hildebard weapon, Sasaki's Nodachi, Jack the Ripper's town of London, that he can use the London as his weapon, that he can transform the city of London to different weapons, and this kind of thing. So so all of them are going to have special abilities because of the Valkyrie that's assigned to them, and it's going to be very interesting. So I think Nikola Tesla's Valkyrie probably will be some kind of a technical Valkyrie that use technology, and some Hayek's Valkyrie probably gonna use winter frozen abilities like ice or snow to its ability to his bullets. Instead of normal bullets, probably gonna be like bullets that freeze people in place, or something like that, like ice, like snow and ice abilities. So that, and obviously Sama Hayek is a very famous sniper, so he's probably gonna use a very specific sniper. So I'm wondering how they're gonna work with that. So probably because I think that if example Rasputin gonna have a very very high level of endurance. So this is what I mean. Why I think that they worked as good versus to each other, like Rasputin and Sama Hayek. And Sama Hayek probably gonna be a person that use stealth, very high level of stealth, and so they're gonna probably use that. So Rasputin probably gonna have very high stamina and use some kind of like magical ability, some kind of magic abilities that can try to control like really seductive, poisonous abilities and something like that. Probably Rasputin will use, and Anubis Leonardo's probably going to also have stealth. Probably some kind of a broiler, like stealth, like very much stealth. And obviously going to have his shield and spear. Obviously the newest guard that was revealed was obviously, if you don't yet read the chapter 50, is obviously that part right now is going to be obviously spoiler, because the new guard we see was Hades, and Hades was not on the list that we see first with all of the guards and humans that fight each other, so we don't know yet who Hades will fight against from the human side. Maybe also some of the Japanese folk heroes. So we have Hades is the king over the underworld, but we have two underworld in Greek mythology. You have the underworld that Hades rule, and then you have Tartarus, that is the punishment when all the people that have done horrible things come to. Like for example, all of the Titans was put in prison in Tartarus. So that is also the other guard that control that. I don't remember that guard's name, but that is not Hades. Hades controls the underworld that everybody goes to, that live in that time in the Greek mythology. So that to go to Hades don't mean that you have done anything bad. Everybody goes like a normal human. Only ones that go to the what Zeus is, like the Olympians, like in the sky, is demigods or something, like very specific people. But normal people go to Hades. So he is be one of the fighters, but we don't know, because he's one of the fighters. It was not listed on the list, so we don't know who he will fight against. And then obviously we have Ares and we have Hermes. So these two characters, like these three Greek gods, are yet unknown who they fight against. So the only one on the list is, as I said before, Anubis, Samahayak, Nikola Tesla, Beelzebub, Rasputin, Apollo, Shishwangdi, and then other, obviously Shiva and Raiden, Sasaki. All of them is listed on the list. So the character that is left is Apollo, Anubis, Samahayak, all of them. Then the Japanese characters I don't remember the name of. So I think the final villain in the story is Loki. Loki and Beelzebub is probably the final villain. And then obviously Odin is probably the main character, but really, because it's named Ragnarok, so it's most likely that Loki have a very, very big role in the end of the story, and that, because now we know that demons exist now in like demon exists. This is the first demon we see in Ragnarok, and then was the demon of the seven heavens, and now we know that. So between Buddha and the seven demons, now it's not a god against god; it's a god against a demon. So probably what will happen if God fights against a god, instead we want to see a demon versus a god, and when a human fight, they fight against a god, to make it more interesting. So now we have three different classes. We have humans, we have gods, and we have the demons. And obviously some of the gods will work with the demons, and obviously probably Hades, Loki, Beelzebub, these three characters of the god will join some kind of pact to try to overthrow. Probably Loki want to overthrow Odin. Hades want to overthrow Zeus. And Beelzebub probably just wants to create chaos in the realm. So Beelzebub is just Lord of the Fly. So that's gonna be interesting with his fight. And the first release of him was in chapter 49. So you have two new releases. In 49 was Beelzebub. 50 was Hades. I think Hades little better design than Beelzebub, but not so much better, but a little bit better. So very interesting to see how Shishondi design is, and some of the other characters we have not yet seen. For example, Anubis design. So maybe later on in some other chapters we can see Apollo and Anubis. And obviously Sama Hayek is a guy with a white hoodie and some like white clothing. So it's going to be interesting. And I think, if I'm not totally wrong, but I think tomorrow the dub release of the chapter will be out, like the English version, because right now it's only the Japanese version. So tomorrow the English version will come out. This kind of thing. Yeah, so that's everything I really want to say in this video about Reckoning or Ragnarok. Okay.